Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Sullivan. A friend of mine shared a 6-year-old child's memory of his father coming home and saying, "I'm going to Afghanistan." After a moment of silence, his mother picked herself up and understood what she needed to do, but still had a sense of apprehension about it. In 2010, it was reported that 50% of our nation's active duty military were married, with 1/3 of those members also having one or more children. During the duration of one or multiple deployments, there are many stressors the deployed as well as the families of the deployed must deal with. To positively cope, families must identify 3 contributing factors, which include the 5 stages of the emotional cycle of deployment, the most common occurring stressors they will face, and the resources they have access to in order to ease the stress for everyone involved. Recognizing these will help our military families ease into the adjustment before, during, and after deployment. The emotional cycle of deployment starts before a soldier even leaves for duty, beginning with the pre-deployment stage. During this stage, anticipation of dealing with the mental as well as physical distance is the priority, as well as getting affairs in order for all family members involved. The second stage is the deployment stage, which is filled with mixed emotions, security issues, as well as sleeping difficulties. The third stage is sustainment, which is where new routines are established within the family, and members of the family regain confidence and recognize their resilience in their current situation. The fourth stage is the redeployment stage, which is filled with immense anticipation of the loved one returning home soon. While there are many feelings of excitement involved, there are also many feelings of apprehension, while family members worry if the loved one will be okay with the changes that have been made. The last stage is the post-deployment stage, which is where routines are once again renegotiated and feelings of independence tend to dissipate. This tends to be the most stressful stage due to everyone becoming reacclimated after the loved one has returned home. Getting through these stages constructively, as well as recognizing the most common stressors, are imperative to a successful deployment adjustment. Stress is a normative response during military separations. The first most common stressor is obviously the long distance that's involved. Loved ones being overseas for an extended period of time with limited communication is obviously going to be uneasy for anyone. Another common stressor is the overinterpretation of arguments that may occur. With new routines being established and limited communication, it is inevitable that people are going to argue and make mountains out of molehills. Military spouses tend to develop a tendency to be overly emotional and exacerbate what the actual problem really is. Another common stressor is personal investment regarding the date of return. Many times, military families are given a time frame or a specific date when they can expect their loved one to return home. Unfortunately, those return dates are never set in stone. A loss of trust encompasses all these 3 stressors and goes hand in hand. This is where resiliency factors and resources become crucial for everyone involved. Establishing a base of support, managing time wisely, and tolerance of ambiguity are all key factors in a successful deployment and return. Regarding the base of support, it can be as simple as a group of military spouses, whether wives or husbands, getting together and speaking about the issues that they are currently facing. However, the Family Readiness Group, also known as the FRG, serves as a close network that meets on a regular basis to relay information to families about those deployed. Managing time is also vital for a smooth transition. Making time for the family as a whole is obviously important, but so is making time for each individual, especially the new matriarch or patriarch of the family. Not knowing can also be the most draining for families, so a tolerance for ambiguity is imperative. Change is obviously inevitable, but acceptance of change early on is key. The Defense Satellite Network also allows soldiers to call their home base and check in with their family when possible. There are also hotlines and social forums available for family members who need to talk to someone about personal issues they are currently dealing with. Utilize Utilizing these resources is the last step in securing the family's chance of adapting throughout the deployment process. Like I mentioned before, change is inevitable, but for the military, it does not have to be looked at as threatening or damaging. Identifying the stages of the emotional cycle of deployment, detecting the main stressors, and utilizing the available resources is what our military families need to do in order to have the ability to come out on the right side of everything that transpires during active duty. Thank you to everyone who took the time to come out today. It's time we support our troops, now more than ever, by providing them with as much guidance and as many resources as possible. I greatly appreciate it and know our military and their families would too. Thank you.